Hello, all, and welcome. Hey, everybody, just getting things set up here. Trying something new today. I'm streaming not just to Facebook, but also to YouTube. So let's see how that goes. Hope everyone's enjoying their Friday. Hey, you. Hello, Alex. How are you? Oh, Justin, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, I decided to finally try the Facebook or the YouTube live thing here. Yeah, I'll just for those of you who are joining from YouTube, this is hello. I am Rowan the Bard. This is very much not a polished show at all. This is the Week's End Happy Hour, where libations are encouraged. And as we say, this is not where you achieve perfection. This is where we strive for mediocrity and achieve it every time. So, that being said, lovely to see everybody. Yeah, funny. I wouldn't know anything about newborns throwing curveballs at me at weird times. No, not at all. Not at all. Can everyone hear me okay? If not, feel free. And if at any point, I know sometimes when you're watching somebody streaming and their microphone's all miffed and you're like, oh, I want to let them know, but that would feel awkward or something. No, by all means, feel free. Just like go ahead, type in the comments. Your microphone setup sucks, man. Change it. Like, that's always appreciated. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, live on YouTube for we're trying this out. This is the Week's End Happy Hour. Well, we got a couple more minutes. I'll give the whole shebang. Audio good. Thank you. The void looks pretty. That is wow, there's a lot to unpack in that statement. And yet I do not disagree. I do not disagree. All right, let's see. Getting things set up. It's kind of fun being my own one-man operation here. Actually, so for those of you who, one of the things, for those of you who are new, one of the things you can expect is you see these little like scrolling banners thing at the bottom. Those who have seen Rowan the Bard's previous Weekend's Happy Hour know it is entirely likely that at one point I will post a banner that is relevant to something that we're talking about. And then 10 minutes later, that banner will still be up. In fact, people can take bets. Like you can turn it into a drinking game if you like. Every time that I leave up a banner for too long. Those who have been watching this for a while will absolutely corroborate that statement. Hello, wifey. How are you? So good to see you. And that is my wife with our two lovely children there. All right. Well, what the heck? Let's go ahead and let's get things started. So I was trying last week. I was coming at you from a pub in somewhere in the Czech Republic. But today I was having some trouble with my green screen. So today we're just coming at me. Today we're just coming from my office, such as it is. Haha. There we go, with a little bit better focus. And let's stop the background music there. And if the audio is still good, what the heck? Let's dive on in. But before we dive on in, I'm going to change the banner from starting in a few moments to welcome to the Week's End Happy Hour. Yay! Hooray! I entertain myself. I hope I entertain you from time to time too. But this is an old Irish traditional tune, the Star of the County Down. In Banbridge town near the county down one morning last July, down a boring green came a sweet Colleen, and she smiled as she passed me by. She looked so sweet from her two white feet to the sheen of her nut brown hair. Such a coaxing elf, sure I shook myself to be sure I was standing there. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, no girl I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. she onward sped, swift I turned my head, and I gazed with the feeling rare. And I said, says I, to the passerby, who's that maid with the nut brown hair? Well, he smiled at me, and with pride says he, that's the gem of old Ireland's crown. That's young Rosie McGann from the banks of the Bann, she's the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town. No girl I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. Well, I travelled a bit, but I never was hit since my roving career began. But fair and square I surrendered there to the charms of sweet Rose McGann. Had a heart to let and no tenant yet had I met within shawl or gown. Till in she went and I asked no rent from the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay and from Galway to Dublin town. No girl I've seen like the brown Colleen that I've met in the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay and from Galway to Dublin town. No girl I've seen like the brown Colleen that I've met in the county down. Oh, 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 oh. Harvest fair she'll be standing there, so I'll dress in my Sunday clothes, with my hat cocked right and my shoes shone bright, for a smile from that nut brown rose. No pipe I'll smoke, no horse I'll yoke, let my plough with rust and brown, till a smiling bride by my own fireside sits the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay and from Galway to Dublin town. No girl I've seen like the brown Colleen that I met in the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay and from Galway to Dublin town. No girl I've seen like the brown Colleen that I met in the county, met in the county, met in the county down. Greetings all and welcome to the Week's End Happy Hour. Hope everyone is. But you're singing "Star of the County Down" as the opening hymn this week at church. Different. That's Bill is a friend who's the music director at a local Catholic parish, Mary, Queen of the Universe, which, for the record, is the most awesome name for a Catholic church I've ever heard in my life. I am guessing that is that if you are doing the hymn to the tune of "Star of the County Down," that is "The World is About to Turn," if I remember my hymns correctly. Hello, everybody. It's so good to see y'all. I hope everyone has had a good week and everyone's enjoying themselves, kicking back with a drink. I am having just a nice standard whiskey and Coke, just to take the edge off. And hey, I was right. That's wonderful. Got it. I remember my Catholic hymns. Well, that's something anyway. All right, let's see. Let's move right along. Bit of an upbeat mood to start things off today. What did I do with my capo? I knew I had it here just a moment ago. I very specifically said, "Don't forget to find your capo, Arthur, for this show." But oh well. Well, we're doing it down a step, not the end of the world. This is a tune in my genre of geek folk. I suppose technically the term for it is filk, but I personally like geek folk because why sing songs about worlds that actually exist? This is a tune. This is a song of adventure, shall we say, a cautionary tale, if you will. You see, I used to be an adventurer, and a questing I would roam. From Winterhall to Markarth, the open road was home. But misfortune fell upon me one sad and fateful day, when a band of roving thieves appeared and boldly blocked my way. So swift I stood to answer them with sword and spell in hand. And soon enough, or so I thought, I slew them to a man. But I missed one damned brigand who was hiding in a tree. And the next thing that I knew, I took an arrow in the knee. An arrow in the knee, me boys, an arrow in the knee. I'll go no more a roving with an arrow in the knee. See, it really is a cautionary tale. So I tried my hand at farming, for to lead a peaceful life. In the fields surrounding Windhelm, far from battle, blood and strife. Great giants were me neighbors, with their mammoth herds in tow. So I took a thought to approach one day for a neighborly hello. But they took me for a wicked thief, their mammoths to purloin. And the next thing that I knew, I took a club into the groin. A club into the groin, me boys, a club into the groin. I gave a cry and learned to fly from a golf swing to the groin. As my friend Randall Piper said, did you know that if you hit a bard in his delicates, he flies away in tune and on tempo? Sometimes that's the only way we can keep the beat. So I next became a city guard in service to the Jarl, when from the west there came one day a dark and fearsome snarl. Then a grim foreboding shadow soon passed over all our heads, and I turned to find the other guards had dropped their spears and fled. But then suddenly it came so clear my destiny I'd found, to stand against the world breaker and fearless hold my ground. Oh, I hurled a great spear at the beast, which only raised his ire. And the next thing that I knew, I was burnt up by dragon fire. Burnt up by dragon fire, me boys, burnt up by dragon fire. You've ne'er known pain till you have been burnt up by dragon fire. Oh, I must leave this land behind me, so I think perhaps I'll join with a caravan of Khajiits. They have room if you have coin. Or maybe I might catch a ship and plow the frozen sea. Far as I'm concerned, Skyrim can burn for how it's treated me. As my gaze is cast into the past, it's clear and plain to see that my troubles all began with that damn arrow in the knee. An arrow in the knee, me boys, an arrow in the knee. I'll go no more a roving with an arrow in the knee. Everybody! Oh, an arrow in the knee, me boys, an arrow in the knee. I'll go no more a roving with an arrow in the knee. Oh, an arrow in the knee, me boys, an arrow in the knee. I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee. An arrow in the knee, a cautionary tale there. Oh, Charlotte, well, thanks for showing up there. Not to worry, I'm sure I'll be doing this one again. And actually, this is a good chance for me as any to plug. I do have that recorded with my friend Randall Piper and our music act that we take to Renaissance fairs, Two Bard Party. So you can actually find that music at twobardparty.com. Playing Elder Scrolls Online, Constance. Very nice, very nice. So I have a strange relationship with online games. It's weird. I'm a sociable fellow. I like hanging out with other people. I like playing video games. Ergo, you would think that I would enjoy online gaming. And yet, ever since I started with City of Heroes and World of Warcraft, way back in the day, I have discovered that I am painfully shy when it comes to interacting with people actually online. So for the past few years, I've been keeping my gaming pretty much just me and my computer, like God intended. Speaking of which, this is a good chance to answer some questions. So every time that I do a Week's End happy hour, I give the chance to my Patreon members to ask me any questions they like. Ask a bard. It can be personal, about my process, about whatever. Let's see. So we had a couple today, and I believe Michael first asked, speaking of video games, are there any particular board games or video games that I find to be underrated? And I don't know if I'd say underrated, but I will say there are two games that pop to mind. They're lesser known, but that I deeply enjoyed. The board game was Battlestar Galactica. Now, it's been almost 10 years now since Battlestar Galactica went off the air. It was one of the best sci-fi films or sci-fi series I've ever seen. If you have not watched it and you are into sci-fi, I highly recommend it. But the board game, I have never seen a board game better capture the feel of the show, of the IP that it's based on. Battlestar Galactica is, of course, a very high stress situation. It's, only about 60,000 humans left, and they're on the run through space from the Cylons. And so you need that sense of tension. And the board game did a very good job of conjuring that up. Literally every round, there was a crisis that you had to react to. Your resources always went down. They very, very rarely went up. And the moment that a Cylon base star would drop out of hyper, or it would jump in, without fail, every time that I would play it, all the players would go like, oh man, and just our heart rates would race. So it's a great game. So Battlestar Galactica, I don't know how much you'll enjoy it if you haven't actually seen the series, but if you have, then it's definitely a recommendation. And as far as video games go, this is one, gosh, maybe 15 years old now. It was called Arcanum, and it was isometric, done in the same style of Baldur's Gate. It was essentially, imagine a steampunk Baldur's Gate. One of the first games to have a system whereby you didn't just have to fight your way through problems. One of the first games whereby you didn't just have to sneak your way through problems. You could, with a high diplomacy skill, talk your way through just about anything. And at the time, that was really something kind of new. Who's calling me? Doesn't matter. It was very new at the time, and so I think that it kind of paved the way for a lot of the games that we have now, where that's kind of standard. Also, the soundtrack, nothing but a string quartet the entire way through, hauntingly beautiful. So that was Arcanum. So yeah, let's take a look at some of the comments here before moving on to City of Heroes. Man, that was, I don't know how much questing I actually did in that game, but I did spend way too much time playing paper dolls with the character creator. All right. Well, let's see. Let's move on. What else do I have for today? Okay, keeping in the geek theme. Let's see. The last one that I did was based on Skyrim. Here's a song I wrote about Doctor Who. This is called The Good Man. The heat of the desert, footprints in sand, and a man on a mission precariously planned. On this final journey, the cruelest he's known, to this hovel that once he called home. He sets down his load, his path at an end, and alone in the ruins he's left to contend with the ghosts of the choices that torment his brain, but the cruelest of all yet remains. For there's no force more terrible under the sun than a man who's accepted what has to be done. And the angels may cry, but the demons will run when a good man goes to war. When a good man goes to war. When a good man goes to war. How he clung to the hope there was always some way, something he might build or some words he might say that could lead to a victory, no matter how small, where no soul would be destined to fall. But now as the time for the high road is past, and each choice that he's left with is worse than the last, to untie the Gordian knot in the cord, then the healer must pick up the sword. For there's no force more terrible under the sun than a man who's accepted what has to be done. And the angels may cry, but the demons will run when a good man goes to war. When a good man goes to war. When a good man goes. He says all people, all places, all moments in time depend on my willingness to cross this line. If there's ever some chance for a new day to dawn, I must drink from this cup, I cannot pass it on. And I know in that new world, as time's river runs, there's no place for the monster that I must become. They will call me a terror, they'll call it obscene, but I will not hold back just to keep my hands clean. And there's no force more terrible under the sun than a man who's accepted what he must become. And the angels may cry, but the demons will run when a good man goes to war. Now his hand's on the button and the wolf's at the door, and the danger is finally too great to ignore, because the writing's on the wall and it's screaming no more. And a good man's gone to war. And the good man's gone to war. And the good man's gone. But then, as the bell strikes the last crack of doom, he discovers that he's not alone in the room. An impossible girl, an impossible plan, and there's always more than one good man. To the doctor, wherever and whenever he may be. Gosh, it's been fun. To be honest, I'm way behind on Doctor Who. I think I'm still halfway only through the Peter Capaldi era. Oh, Bob. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks. Yeah. That is a song that I actually recorded with my other music act, with my lovely wife, Rowan and the Rose, which you can find at rowanandtherose.com, and that's on one of our albums there. It's so weird doing some of these songs. A lot of these songs I wrote as individual solo songs, but then added either Kelly or Randall too. And now I've done them so much as duets that it feels almost naked to be doing it on my own. I'm like, where are those sweet harmonies and the whistle part that I've relied on? I am halfway through the newest Suicide Squad, and it is just as darkly delightful as I was hoping that it would be. Just wonderful. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Time to answer another question from my Patreon peeps. The next question was, if I had the choice to live in any sci-fi or fantasy universe, which one would it be? And I hate to go with the obvious cliche one, but honestly, the Star Trek universe, because the whole point of it is that it's a utopia. And while I'm sure my life would be a lot more interesting if I was living in some kind of grim, dark, apocalyptic future, or, to be honest, the medieval past where lifespans were brutally short. The idea of a society where everyone has evolved to, for the most part, live in harmony and not have to worry about an economic system, and the fact that you could just step into a teleporter and go wherever you need to go, and you can go to space. I got to go with Star Trek. That being said, other fantasy worlds that I think would be cool to, at the very least, experience. Maybe not live there, maybe go visit. Of course, I'd love to go visit, like the Shire, for example. Who wouldn't want to go visit Middle-earth? I don't know whether I would actually like to stay there, but I would love to visit. Interesting fact, I just saw somebody do a map where they overlaid the map of Middle-earth with the map of the United States in order to get across the concept of just how far Frodo and Sam had to walk to get the ring to Mordor. And I think it had the Shire someplace around Idaho, and Mordor was the Tower of Barad-dûr was Jacksonville, Florida. So A, that's an incredibly far distance to walk, and B, Mordor is Florida. I mean, what more need to be said? Colleen, you do make an excellent point. How awesome would it be to meet Tom Bombadil? I don't know if I would like to live in Middle-earth, but Tom Bombadil would absolutely be one of my favorite people to meet. Yeah. Mordor is in Jacksonville. I know, right? I always remember somebody said one of the lines in the movies that jumped out was when one of the Uruk-hai says, "Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys," which of course leads people to think, so menus, are there restaurants in Mordor? This was a whole like Twitter thread that I was following, and so someone was just like, are there restaurants in Mordor? Like, what would they eat? Is it carnivorous? But the best response I saw was somebody just said, well, yes, of course there are restaurants in Mordor, but you have to make a reservation because one does not simply walk in. Yeah, in case you can't tell from the little baby bouncer behind me, I'm a dad now, which means dad jokes abound. Floordor. You know what? That's what I'm calling it from here on out. All right, let's see. All right, get rid of this one. Let's move on to... Okay, I haven't done this one. Actually, I don't know if I've done this one for a Week's End Happy Hour yet. This is a song I wrote a couple years ago. Most of my geek stuff, most of my singing I do at Renaissance fairs, which are just some of my favorite places to be for many, many reasons. I always like to say that everything you've heard about Renaissance fairs are true. Everything. But that's, the bad, but then that's also the good. So this is a song I wrote in praise of them. My life has been much tempest-tossed by many hearts as cold as stone. I've walked out in rain and back in rain. It's a lonely road I roam, until my footsteps led me here to this place I now call home, where each day I look around and find I am not alone. So if ever you felt out of place, or like you don't belong, if you've ever been shamed or scorned, but told your life was somehow wrong, then come ye to this village fair, wherein we now reside. It's for those like you we built this place, and our gates are open wide. So to the drifters and the dreamers, to the lost and in-betweeners, come join us in our song with good companions and good cheer. We extend an open hand, there are no strangers in this land. We're a haven for the outcasts, and you are welcome here. So be here all you wish to be, to escape life's toil and drudge, and wear whatever you want to wear, 'cause really, who are we to judge? And there's but one rule to living here, amongst family and friends. This kindness that we offer you, you must likewise extend. You must likewise extend. So to the drifters and the dreamers, to the lost and in-betweeners, come join us in our song with good companions and good cheer. We extend an open hand, there are no strangers in this land. We're a haven for the outcasts, and you are welcome here. So here's a health if you're traditional, here's a health if you're bizarre, and here's a health to those who taught us to embrace all that we are, to embrace all that we are. So to the drifters and the dreamers, to the lost and in-betweeners, come join us in our song with good companions and good cheer. We extend an open hand, there are no strangers in this land. We're a haven for the outcasts, a haven for the outcasts, and may your cups be overflowing, may your hearts be ever growing. May you take the risk called love and face a broken world unbowed. May you shield the ones in danger. May you stand beside the stranger and make a haven for the outcasts, and then stand among us proud. To all the outcasts out there, hear, hear. Not gonna lie, that drink is really hitting the spot today. It's been a day. All right, well, let's see. Hello there. Checking the comments here. Yeah, it has been interesting, the fair situation. I'm glad so many fairs have managed to happen so far this year. You know, getting sort of in under the wire before the Delta variant really kicked in. But I mean, it kind of, we might see a resurgence in Renaissance fairs because, hey, it's all outdoors. Yay. Oh, Tina, a woman after my own heart. Yeah, it is possible to play World of Warcraft solo. You know, it's harder to raid, but it is absolutely possible. Oh, Riley, thank you so much. Thank you. That is the tune for that, or at least the tune for the verses, is based on one of the child ballads. The child ballads is a collection of some 100 folk tunes that came about in England from like 1600 to 1700. The tune for that is it's called Willie of Waynesbury. And if you have Spotify and you enter Willie of Waynesbury, you will find an album of the child ballads done by Anais Mitchell, whose name is much more famous now because she wrote Hadestown, which I did get to see before the pandemic hit. And so help me, it is coming back and I'm going to see it again because I freaking love that show. All right, let's see. Give me one moment. I had one more question that somebody wrote, but I've forgotten what it is. So I've got to open my Patreon page. What's that, Rowan? Did you say that you have a Patreon page that you are opening right now? Where could one find that page if they wanted to? Well, that would have been the best segue for me to put up the picture. Oh no, there it is. I thought I deleted the banner, but I did not because there it is. That's right. If you two would like the great Medici princes of old to become a patron of the arts, you too can go and toss a coin to your minstrel at patreon.com/Rowan the Bard. All right. What was that last question that I'm pulling up now? I just got a second monitor for my computer. How did I live with just one monitor before? This is a game changer. It's incredible. This is like sliced bread. This is like the Keurig coffee maker. It's that much of a life changer. Question from Heather. What has been the hardest instrument to learn to play or the easiest? Interestingly, for me at least, the hardest instrument has been the guitar. I grew up playing piano, and when I started getting into the Renaissance fair scene, I realized you can't really carry a piano around with you, so I had to learn guitar. I still like to call my album 7 Chords and a Capo because that's what I mostly do. For those who do play guitar, you will understand this. I have reached the plateau where the only way to move forward is to learn bar chords, and I do not yet have the finger strength. I know that I've avoided it. I've been playing guitar for 11 years now, and still I have not learned bar chords. And that is because most of the music that I do is folk music and uses the standard 7 chords. So 7 chords and a capo, and that's all I've needed. But yeah, really to get to the next level, of guitar playing, I need to learn bar chords, which is where you actually, where you hold down a fret, and this allows you to play chords entirely up and down the scale, which is very useful. And I still haven't gotten it yet after 11 years. So I would call that my most difficult one. That the easiest instrument should be the triangle. You'd think so, but you know what? Keeping the beat can be hard sometimes. Sometimes it can be hard. The easiest instrument, I will say, actually, you know what? I'm going to go grab it right now because I've got it. The easiest instrument I've ever had to learn was the Irish whistle, which I will pull from my quiver of whistles right now. I have many whistles. One of the reasons why they're easy to play is because an Irish whistle is pretty much only in one key. So that's fine for most Irish music, which only happens in a few specific keys. But if you want to play in every key, you need to have an entire collection of whistles. So actually, this is easy because the fingering is where you just walk right up the scale. I managed to pick it up because, like so many of us in elementary school, I learned the recorder. But true story. So actually, this is the history of how Rowan learned to play the whistle. So in high school, I was a huge Star Trek fan. And many of you who like Star Trek Next Generation will remember the episode The Inner Light, in which Picard plays sort of like a space flute, if you will. It's a lovely tune. And I was very taken with it. And I found an old recorder lying around the house. And so I retaught myself recorder in order to play that tune. Then I brought that recorder to a Renaissance fair where I first was working, the Pennsylvania Fair, and quickly discovered that a recorder outdoors is a tricky thing. But somebody pointed out to me that Irish whistles are like recorders, only simpler and more resilient. So I started learning from there. But let's see if I can remember the tune. This is from The Inner Light. Jean-Luc Picard. Wow, that has been forever. It's fun noodling around on these little whistles. If you would like to learn some, I actually highly recommend if you find yourself wanting to be more musically inclined and want an instrument to learn, an Irish whistle is great. You can pick up a fairly cheap one online from like Susato for like $20, and and a lot of it's just, the trickiest thing is not over breathing into it. You just have to develop an easy breath, but then it's just noodling. That was the Pac-Man theme, because why not? Having a lovely laid-back time here. It is so good to see you all. Again, so I was mentioning, so we've got the patreon.com there. Another way, if you would like to, as we say, contribute to the Twin Diaper Fund, because wow, identical twins use a lot of diapers. Like, I knew that they would use many diapers. I was not expecting the plethora of diapers that would be needed. But yes, if you would like to contribute to the Twin Diaper Fund, you can Venmo me at Rowan the Bard or paypal.me/Rowan the Bard. Help keep my babies in the lifestyle of comfortable diapers to which they have grown accustomed. All right, enough with the plugs. For my let's get back to some couple more songs here. Did I have anything else that I'd written that I wanted to play there? You know what? I'm going to do one more trad one. I've done this a couple times, but so those of you who have watched a lot of Week's End Happy Hour, this is going to be like the third time you hear this song. But hey, this is my opportunity to practice. So here we go. This is another trad, which I think I've gotten through all the way once without going up on the lyrics, so we'll give it a go. This is called Beggar Man. I am a little beggar man, a begging I have been for 60 or more in this little Isle of Green. I'm known from the lighter right down to Sagoo, and I'm known by the name of old Johnny Doo. Of all the trades I go, now should begging is the best stuff, for when a man is tired he can settle down and rest. Beg for his supper, there's nothing else to do but pop around the corner with this old rig-a-doo. Hi, doodle diddle deedle diddle deedle diddle dum diddle deedle diddle deedle diddle deedle diddle dum doodle diddle deedle diddle deedle diddle dum diddle deedle diddle 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 rum pum pum. I slept in a barn down a Coorabon. The wet night came on, and I slept through the dawn with the holes in the roof and the rain coming through, and the rats and the cats, they were playing peekaboo. Who should awaken but the lady of the house with her white spotted apron and her calico blouse? She began to frighten, and so I said, boo, hurrah, don't be afraid, it's only Johnny Doo. Hi, doodle diddle deedle diddle deedle diddle dum diddle diddle deedle diddle doodle diddle dum doodle diddle deedle deedle diddle deedle dum diddle deedle diddle 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 rum pum pum. I got the stars, I got the road, I got the sky, the earth is my home. I met a little flaxen-haired girl one day. Good morning, little flaxen-haired girl, I did say. Good morning, little beggar man, how do you do? With your rags and your bags and your old rig-a-doo. I'll buy a pair of leggings and a collar and a tie, and an old-fashioned lady I will fetch by and by. Buy a pair of goggles and I'll color them blue, and a nice young lady I will get her too. Oh, diddle 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 dum diddle 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 dum diddle 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 dum diddle 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 rum pum pum. I got the stars, I got the road, I got the sky, the earth is my home. So over the fields with my pack on my back, and over the hills with my great gunny sack. Ah, so close, came close to it, so over the fields with my pack on my back, and over the hills with my great gunny sack. With holes in my boots and my toes taking bruising, and skirring and digging and an old Johnny Doo. I must be getting to bed, for it's getting late at night. The fire's all out and out goes the light. So now you know the story of my old rig-a-doo. Good night, God be with you, says old Johnny Doo. Hi, doodle diddle deedle diddle deedle diddle dum diddle diddle deedle diddle doodle diddle dum doodle diddle deedle diddle deedle diddle dum diddle 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 rum pum pum. Said the doodle diddle deedle diddle deedle diddle dum diddle 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 dum doodle diddle deedle diddle deedle diddle dum diddle 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 rum pum pum. Beggar Man, so close! Oh, so close! Next time. Next time. There's always next time. Let's see what we got people saying there. Yes, just you definitely, you understand my pain with your twins. Yeah. The one of the things we discovered when having twins is the world is made for singleton babies, which, to be fair, makes sense because the vast majority of babies are singleton. So I get that. But in a way, it's almost nice because our options were more limited for getting twin things. It was a lot easier to find stuff and not get paralyzed by all the options that are out there. But hello, Dane. When did I start streaming? Well, this is my first time streaming to YouTube in celebration of me hitting 1,000 subscribers. Oh my God. Thank you all for that. That is just crazy. I never in a million years thought I would have a YouTube channel with 1,000 subscribers. I mean, literally, it all started with me doing the Star Shanty of Old Man Thrawn back in February now. It was the pandemic. I was bored. And I'll be honest, Star Wars has straight up been my security blanket throughout the entirety of this thing. I'm talking, that's most my role-playing games have been Star Wars related. I just finished playing Fallen Order on my PlayStation. So I just did it for a lark, because I always liked sea shanties, and I was thrilled that suddenly sea shanties were becoming popular again. And yet here we are with 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you so much. So yeah. So I'm going to start streaming. I have Week's End happy hours about once every couple of weeks now. So yeah, I will keep streaming there. All right, let's see. Well, I've got time for a couple more here. You know what? Speaking of Star Wars, I'm going to tune down here to Dadgad. The song that no audience wants to hear, the tuning song. right, this is now, of course, most of the shanties were written specifically for to be sung, with a group. But I found some of them actually have lent themselves to just a solo voice with guitar, and none more so than probably Ghosts of Alderaan. And that is specifically because I didn't write that one as a shanty originally. I wrote that as sort of an Irish tune in the style of The Parting Glass. It actually occurred to me, when you think about it, Alderaan and Ireland have a lot in common. They both have a real beef with an oppressive empire that sort of clamped down on them, and both of them would probably have a lot of songs about a home that they left and can never return to. So I used that as my base template, and at some point I will actually record a full-on Irish version of Ghosts of Alderaan with with whistle and stuff like that. Oh, actually, it is likely going to be done by Two Bard Party, which will be at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair this year from September 19th to October 31st. So if you happen to be in the Pennsylvania region during that time, come on out to the fair, and you can see me and my friend Randall Piper just being big old dorks on stage for a few weekends. All right, so let's see. Now let's see if I can remember some of these lyrics. It's been a bit, and I've been focused on Admiral Radis a bunch. But like I said, if you came here expecting perfection, this is not the place to be. Let's raise a glass to the ones who have passed. Raise them up, lift them up high. May their memories live on in our story and song. Come, set their spirits to fly. I'll raise one for Crate, one of my best mates. Raise him up, lift him up high. When I bought my first ship, he helped crew her first trip. So rise up and take to the sky. And though none can say at the end of the day if any of us will survive. With their names on our breath, we will fly into death as the ghosts of Alderaan burn in our drive. I'll raise one to Branley, a friend of the family. Raise her up, lift her up high. She'd curse up a streak every time that she'd speak. Come, set her spirits to fly. For Laura, a toast, 'twas the girl I loved most. Raise her up, lift her up high. She'd wait, so she swore, when I went off to war. So rise up and take to the sky. And though none can say at the end of the day if any of us will survive, with their names on our breath, we will fly into death as the ghosts of Alderaan burn in our drive. Here's one for Zell, sure he loved raising hell. Raise him up, lift him up high. He once challenged a Wookiee that did not end well. Come, set his spirit to fly. And here's one for Brea, the mother of Leia. Raise her up, lift her up high. Graceful, serene, she was everyone's queen. Rise up and take to the sky. And though none can say at the end of the day if any of us will survive, with their names on our breath, we will fly into death as the ghosts of Alderaan burn in our drive. Let's call to mind all the ones left behind. Raise them up, lift them up high. For now they must roam through the stars with no home. Come, set their spirits to fly. So let's echo the tale that was started by Bale. Raise him up, lift him up high. His story's not done, no, the work's just begun. So rise up, rise up, rise. And though none can say at the end of the day if any of us will survive, with their names on our breath we will fly into death as the ghosts of alderaan burn. So here in the dark, may our shot light a spark to help keep this new hope alive. And united we say, may the force have its way. As the ghosts of alderaan burn in our drives, the ghosts of alderaan burn in our drives, as the ghosts of alderaan burn. To alderaan. So for those of you who are new, this is something I picked up from Randall Piper, who insists that it makes the chord sound cooler when you shake it at the very end. I remain unconvinced, but it gives me something to do. So let's see what people are saying here. Oh, that's exciting. That is very exciting to me that they are. I am so excited for Ahsoka and for actually all the Star Wars stuff that's coming out. That's really just thrilling. That's thrilling. Well, let's see, guys. I've got time for one more before I have to sign off for the week. But thank you all so much for spending this time with me. Again, if you have not had a chance, please go over to YouTube and you can subscribe to my channel there, or you can also like me on Facebook.com at Rowan the Bard. If you would like to support me in an ongoing fashion, you can do so at my Patreon there. And actually, for some of my Patreon tiers, so I've had a lot of people ask the question, will I be actually putting out the music for the Star Shanties? The answer is yes. Once the project is done, and I have a feeling that'll be done by about the end of the year, maybe about 10 songs or so, I'm going to put together the full album and then release that on Spotify. However, rough mixes of those for my Patreon people, I will be releasing the rough mixes of each song as I complete them. So I sent out the rough mix of an MP3 of Admiral Radis last week. And actually, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be going back and getting the rough mixes for all the other stuff too, and sending those through. Oh, that is. Oh, there it is. Oh God. Oh, that's. Oh, why? Why must you be so out of tune? Let's see, what's a good one to finish with here? I do happen to be in Dadgad. I was going to finish with this great, rousing, rollicking number from Stan Rogers, but again, that number requires a freaking capo, which, as those of you who have been here before can attest, it disappeared. I literally brought it in with me. And so, okay, you know what? We're going to have to do another song to finish it up. And because I'm still in Dadgad, my options are limited. But you know what? Another new song that I also did last week, but is still new, and so I could probably get use getting the reps on it. This is a song in true geek fashion, hopefully an inspirational one, and it is simply called "Level Up." Another year under the bridge, another season's turn, another wrinkle showing on your brow. But with all that you've acquired, every lesson that you've learned, you thought things would be easier by now. But the road keeps getting steeper through the valleys of your soul, and the thickets prove the harder to break through. The life of comfort still eludes you, but maybe comfort's not the goal. As troubles mount, there's one thing left to do. You level up as the challenges get tougher. You level up, the monster's harder yet to tame. But then no one's ever grown by staying in their starting zone. And the challenge makes the more engaging game. So level up. Flawless. It started out so simple, back when we were kids at play. They said stay on the path and sure you'll be protected. But now we've all grown older, and it's a different world today, full of challenges that none of them expected. And life's a game where no one ever really knows the rules, what cards to play or how the pieces move. And every skill set that you need, you never learned at school, and yet we somehow slowly still improve. We level up, but the struggle's never ending, though it lasts a whole life long. Though there's greater foes in store, and though their blows will hurt them more, they're not the only ones who have grown strong. Level up. And ask yourself, oh, way back when, what was your toughest threat? In your younger days, what was your greatest fear? Because if that was all you faced today, you'd hardly break a sweat. You're playing in a higher tier. You've leveled up, and there's quests that need completing. There's kingdoms left for you to claim. Because when all is said and done, in every tale that's ever been spun, the strongest heroes always forged in flame. Oh, level up. By your years you're made the bolder, and by experience made bold. You once fought goblins in your day, but now there's dragons left to slay. And your greatest stories as of yet untold. Level up. Lords and ladies, oh gosh, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I am on the days when I'm free and the schedule allows it. I'm so coming to appreciate these Friday afternoons spent with you. So thank you very much. I look forward to seeing all of you again, either virtually here or on Facebook or YouTube, or for some of you, God willing, in person sooner rather than later. So I will leave you, as I always do, with my cheesy pirate farewell that I created for a cheesy pirate show down here in Orlando. May you all find adventure over every next horizon, and fair winds and following seas on all your journeys home. Sláinte, everyone. Have a wonderful week.